Like it was never had a relationship where like I run this, you run, like it was
All right, we are live. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Tuesday Motivation and Conversation. Yes, absolutely. We have conversation and we hope that something is said that will motivate you in one direction or the other or challenge you um, to do something a little bit different. I have been talking about attitudinal disposition pretty much the last, um, well, all of December, and I think the end of November. And so, um, I'm gonna just kind of recap what I shared. Definitely go back and watch each of the attitudinal disposition um, sessions so that you can put those together. Each of them had, there was, of course, uh, there was the attitude side, there was the disposition side, and as a result, each of them had 10 elements, and I did five each session. So I think there was a total of four sessions for which we did. I have to get where I can see you all in the event that anybody pops into the chat. I want to be able to see your question or your comment and respond to you um, as a result. So, one of the things that I think is important at this time in this season of the year, and that is to make sure that we are, in fact, positioning ourselves appropriately. And I think the attitudinal disposition was spot on for this season and time of the year. I was saying to my coaching and mentoring group just on last night that, or I was saying it to a client, one or the other. But one of the things that, has been the last several years as an entrepreneur, this time of the year has been very, very busy for me. Whereas when I was in corporate, it was a different plight. Things were slowing down, people were taking off for the holidays, people were out of office. And even in that season, because of my mindset and the position I was in, I slowed down as well. And so, even with there probably have having been an opportunity for me to really thrust myself in that season because of the position I was in and because of the perspective that I had. I did not position myself from an entrepreneurial standpoint to really capitalize off of the season that we go through mentally and thinking about our plight, where we are, what we're doing, especially as entrepreneurs. And so during those years, I really missed an opportunity to really hone in on my craft. And not only that, but to really gain momentum. So here's the thing, when you learn better, you best to do better. Because at the end of the day, if you don't take the opportunity to really, capitalize off of the opportunities and the lessons you learn as you go, you will continue to repeat those same things. And so tonight I'm talking about, what's your position? But I first want to just kind of review what I talked about when it comes to attitudinal disposition, just to give you that highlight. And for those of you that are that are stopping by tonight, thank you so much for stopping by and sharing with me on Tuesday motivation and conversation. Um, so I want to just kind of high level review, and as I'm reviewing, I'm going to be, if you've been on here any length of time, if you've been tapping in for any period of time, you know that as I'm talking, I'm going to be sharing, so I'm going to be saying something. So I tell you what, take a quick minute, grab you a pen and a piece of paper, because I don't ever know what's going to drop. I just kind of give it as it comes. But I want to just review this because I think it's so, so very important. My coach was sharing some character traits with us some time back, and this particular phrase, this phraseology, this particular thing just illuminated to me, and it stood out. And so I began to drill down on it. I began to research it, and I began to study it out. And so I'm so um, driven by this whole attitudinal disposition, because I think it makes the absolute difference in where you go and what you do in life, as an individual, as a person, as a couple, as a single person, as an entrepreneur. Because if your attitudinal disposition is not correct, On the other side of whatever it is you are attempting to do, it won't be correct either. So these things have to align. And so, of course, I talked about the fact that attitudinal disposition in its simplest form is mindset. Do you have a growth mindset? Do you have a fixed mindset? If you're setting your way of doing things and this is how you've always done it, you don't want to learn technology, you don't want to do that, you don't understand why we got to have it and we don't have to do this and this, that, and the third. I'm telling you, if you don't have a growth mindset and you're not open to understand what's happening in our world today, you will be left behind. There is no ifs, no ands, or buts, or maybes, or I don't know about it. You will be left behind. And it's going to be difficult once you get so far behind to catch up. And what happens is you begin to get frustrated as opposed to really taking the position of getting acclimated to what's happening and being able to move yourself forward. It's frustrating because when you have no clue as to what's happening, what's going on, and you've not tapped into the opportunity to do so, it frustrates you more than anything else. A mindset encompasses an individual's attitudes, so your attitude, be it positive or negative, your belief, whatever your belief system is, what do you believe and do you know why you believe that? And you need to be able to defend what you believe. So your belief system is important. And your inclinations. What are you inclined to do based on the circumstances and the situations you're in? Um, that's important. And are you decisive, indecisive? What is your position? So these are the things that collectively shape our approach to various situations and our overall perspective on life. Your attitudinal disposition determines your compass. That determines the direction you go in, how you go in it, the approach you take, your perspective on that approach, the whole 9 yards. So the way this is more relatable is that this whole thing, it sums up one's mental and emotional orientation, right? Have you ever just, you've been around somebody and for no reason at all. They're just mean, right? They have adapted an attitudinal disposition for which they function and how they do what they do. And so, some of us have more positive, optimistic perspectives, attitudes. That's our disposition. Some of us have more negative, pessimistic type, attitudes. That's our attitudinal disposition. So, based on what that is, determines how you look at things. Someone can just be sharing with you something. I mean, a simple fact that's been shared or something's being passed on. Well, I don't know why you got to do that. That's an attitudinal disposition. There's a reason why that person is offensive. There's a reason why that person is negative, because that means nothing positive, nothing good really happens in their life. And so everything that they hear, everything that they receive, there's a disposition of the ear, how you hear, how you see, a disposition of the eye, and then a disposition of the heart, how you receive stuff. Okay. So what's your ear disposition? What's your eye disposition? And what's your heart disposition? Because at the end of the day, if you're not hearing it right, you're not seeing it right, and you're not receiving it right, guess what? It ain't gonna be right. So it's important that your attitudinal disposition is correct. So here again, attitude, the multifaceted term that encompasses both practical and spiritual dimensions. So here again, go back and listen to all of those. And so we talked about behavior aspect, cognitive, affective aspect, social influence, cognitive dissonance. That's a good one. You definitely want to drill down on that one. And then from a spiritual perspective, faith and belief, gratitude and contentment, mindfulness, compassion and forgiveness, service, and altruism. Then we had disposition. We had the positive and the negative side. So for positive, we had inherent positivity, we had resilience, kindness and empathy, openness to change, huge, and then optimism for positive perspective of disposition. And then for negative, pessimism, resistant to change, cynicism, stress and anxiety, impact and relationships. And so I went through all of these on the attitude side, practical and spiritual, and on the disposition side, positive and negative. So definitely go back and take the opportunity to listen to attitudinal disposition. It's a 4-part series, and you don't want to leave out any of the parts. So take your time, whether that's when you're driving or on a Saturday morning or whenever you have the time or during your meditation, and listen to the other aspects of all the aspects of attitudinal disposition. Now, this is my stance. Once we have got a good handle on attitudinal disposition and determine what our stance is and where we function, where we flow. Because if you're gonna be honest, you know where you function and flow out of those traits under attitudinal disposition. You know your practical traits that you fall under, you know the spiritual traits that you fall under, you know the positive traits that you fall under, and you know the negative traits that you fall on. And if you'll be honest, assess where you are and the things you need to really work on. Because I'm telling you, when you can shift those things, it will shift your life. How you look at life, how you receive the things that happen to you, how you manage the things that occur, all of this has to do with our attitudinal disposition. It's one's mental and emotional orientation. And so that stems from something, it comes from something, it can be, childhood, it can be things that happen to you as an adult, it could be relationships, it can be, parenting things, all kinds of things establish this disposition and causes you to go left or right one way or the other. So my question at this point, after you have gone through this process, what's your position? Because whatever your position is determines what you need to do going forward, how you need to do it, and how you need to prepare, right? Um, then you need to begin to establish a structure, a strategy, and a system. A structure for your life, your business, whatever it is that you're doing. If you don't have one, and if you have one, you need to evaluate it, review it, determine where you are. Because here's the thing, things are changing all the time, right? Um, I was just saying to someone the other day, I've got to take the time to sit and go through my website and overhaul it. And I do that periodically. What it started out being years ago is not what it is now. And what it'll end up being, later is not what it is now. So you have to continue to be open. You have to continue to learn. You have to continue to insert yourself as much as possible. And listen, everybody does it on a different level. And so what you have to do is determine what your level is and how you can start. Where can you start that's manageable for you? Here again, I always go back to the U strategy. That's an evergreen course that's on my website. You can go and take it at any time, go at your own pace. It's only $47. I would encourage you to go take the U strategy course. It gives you practical application about how to manage yourself. And establishing our position is a lot about learning how to manage ourselves. And so I talk about 5 elements in that particular training that I think is beneficial, because if you don't take the opportunity to really understand where you are and establish a foundation so that you can see what your position is, it derails your progress. You have to determine how much time you have to do the things you are doing. So if you're a person who works in corporate, or you have a formal job, but you're also trying to do business, you have to determine, I got this much time that I work the job, I have this much time to give to my business or to lend to my business to establish it, get it going, do the work, whatever that is. And while you want things to jump off and go to the roof overnight, that is not realistic. You have to establish yourself a process by which you're going to work. So when am I available? How much time do I have? And if you're working during the week, you have very little time, right? Because you've got to determine, do I have 2 hours a day, 4 hours a day? Is that 2 hours before work, 2 hours, break in the day, lunch? I get you may be able to take an hour and a half lunch or whatever the case may be. Well, you may be able to get some work done or see a client or whatever the case may be. But even before getting there, what does that look like? What does the business look like? What does the service that you're providing look like? So what kind of time, your availability, then your accountability. You have to have some source of accountability to help you be consistent, right? With what it is that you are wanting to do. Then the responsibility. There's nobody else that's going to step up and do the work that needs to be done. So that means you have to be the one to do it. So you have to be responsible for that. One of the things that is a huge misconception, I think, when people are thinking about being an entrepreneur, going into business, whatever that is, and this, let me just throw this parenthetically in, this is free. I say this to clients all the time, every day. Some clients, they're writing a book, they don't see that as a business. When you're writing a book, once you finish that project, you have to have some business savvy, because if not, you will not sell books. So to launch that book, to sell that book, to tour that book, whatever the case may be, to establish speaking engagements based on that book, whatever your story is, requires a business side. It requires business sense. It requires business savvy. In a lot of cases, you need a website where you're going to sell it, right? And yeah, Amazon, you can sell it on Amazon, but that's a fraction of the profit that you can make if you put in the time to market it yourself. So there is a business side to everything we do. It's a business side to living every day. Your house has a business side because if you don't pay them bills, guess what? Stuff gonna get turned off. You're gonna be on the street. So there is a business side to everything we do. And so you have to be prepared for that. You have to understand that, and you have to align yourself for that purpose and that aim. So you have availability, you have accountability, you have responsibility. Then the next thing, this is huge, manageability. Don't bite off more than you can chew. If you got a full-time job, don't try to go into a business that's going to require 8 hours of your time a day to get it going because you don't have it. You just do not have 8 hours. And if you try to make yourself have 8 hours, you will run yourself ragged. That's the truth. And I'm telling you all day long, been there, done it. You cannot do 8 hours a day. Um, you can, your tongue will be on the ground, but it's just crazy, to do that. So even if you're single, that's too much because you need proper rest and the whole nine. But you have to establish, is it manageable? What am I doing? And so start with what's manageable and grow over time. Work yourself out of a job if you're looking to start a business. So, and then the other one is sustainability. So those are the 5 areas, because if you can get those things in line and establish where you are and what you need to do, then it'll help you to have sustainability as you move forward. So it's important here again, what it is that you're doing, how it is that you're going to do it, and um, the direction you're going to take. So um, knowing what it is that you're going to do, what's that position? Do you have, and let's just keep it real. The perspective now is 2024. For all intents purposes, we're in January. We're halfway through for the most part in December. So what are you looking to do in January? If you have not documented that, if you've not prepared that, you're behind. You should have already documented what you want to see happen in 2024. You should have already looked at your calendar for 2024. You should have already established if there are any trips that you're taking, you should have already looked at that kind of thing. I get spontaneity. I get doing things on the spur of the moment. I get all of that. I do the same. But at the end of the day, you need to have a plan in place and be ready to pivot when you have to. So it's nothing wrong with having a plan because that helps you to have some flow, some direction of what you're doing, where you're going. If not, you're going to overbook, you're going to double book, you're going to do things, and then you're going to mess your schedule up and all of this. And then that kind of also bleeds into your integrity because you may have told one person one thing and you're telling somebody else something else, but you have not sat down and really established what's your direction in 2024, right? So for me, I'm expecting open doors in 2024. I'm expecting doors of advancement in 2024. As a result, I already have a schedule. I already have a calendar. I already have a plan of action of what I'm desiring to do in 2024, where I'm desiring to go, what I'm desiring to do. Even from the projection of income, what I want to project to make in 2024 as opposed to what I'm projecting that I'm going to end up making in 2023. All of these. And here's the deal. If you don't take the time to sit down and assess these areas where you are, you know, that's the first thing. Where you are, what's your position? Where are you now? And you need to be able to define that. You need to be able to define where you are now, right? And so I have to take notes myself while I'm talking because sometimes I say things I don't know that I was gonna say. So, where are you now? Right? What's your current position? Then where are you trying to go? So that's number 2. Where are you now? Based on, and then once you look at where you are now, look at 2023. What happened? What went well? What didn't go well? This is the time to make this evaluation and do these assessments. What went well? What didn't go well? What do you want to do differently? But the whole thing is, where am I right now? Right? Then number 2, where am I trying to go? 2024 is right around the corner. Where am I trying to go? What is it I want to do in 2024? There, and then whatever that is, do I have a plan of action in place to help me get there? Right. Um, And if you don't, then the next question is, how am I going to get there? How am I going to do it? Right? How will I get there? So where are you now? What's your position? Then where is it that you want to go from here, from what your current position is? And then the other question is, how are you going to get there? You got to ask yourself these questions, and then you have to take the opportunity to also document what your responses are. Once you document what your responses are, then you need to strategize from that. So once you document, where am I? I'm currently at a position, I have clients. I got X number of clients to finish through the end of the year. Those clients are going to yield X number of dollars in revenue, blah, 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 blah. Right? Write it down. Then where is it that you want to go in 2024? I want to increase my income. I want to increase clients, or I want to start a different method of services in 2024. So what does that look like? Write it down. What is that service that you want to offer? How is it that you want to roll it out? When do you want to roll it out? Where are you in the process of having the tools and the resources to roll it out? Right? So you have to think about all of these things. If you are a person who is scaling and you're growing, then you need to be looking at your perspective framework for your team. For myself, in addition to all the things that I am doing as an entrepreneur and for my clients, I'm also preparing a whole rollout for my team, because everybody needs to understand clearly where we're going, what we're doing, and how we're going to do it. At the end of the day, if I don't establish a culture, guess what? People will bring their own and they will do what they know to do. Not that what they know to do is bad, but it ain't the culture for me. So at the end of the day, all of that has to align, and it's the same for you and what you're doing. So whether that's for your house, it could be with your children. Okay, this year didn't go too well, or it went good. Let's talk about how we're going to improve on next year. What we're going to do differently. If we had a trip, we might want to have 2 trips, but 2 shorter trips. We might want to experience something that we didn't experience before. All of this is important. As entrepreneurs, it's also important to make sure that you carve out time to have self-care. So when are you going to take time for yourself, away from everything else that's going on, and for the people that you're servicing, so forth and so on, 1, 2, 3, ABC, and have you planned that time for yourself? Because if you have not planned that time for yourself, that should be on your calendar as well. All right. So all of these are important. It's a part of establishing structure for yourself. Once you establish what that structure is going to be, then extract strategies from your structure, because that's going to tell you what you need to do, right? But you have to write it down. It's a part of vision. So once you write that down, then the last question is, how am I going to do it? This is where you may want to go to my website and get the 5T Strategy Model ebook. That is going to help you to determine from left to right how to establish a plan of action. You're going to talk it out, you're going to task it, you're going to time it, you're going to track it, and you're going to trace it. That's the 5T Strategy Model. Simplistic, fundamentally basic, but at the end of the day, it works for everything you do in life. And it's a mode of project management, so to speak, but it's simplistic and anybody can follow the model. It's called the 5T Strategy Model, and it's an ebook download on my website. You can go and get it at any time. So I would encourage you to get that product, and that's going to help you to really align yourself and determine how you're going to do. And I'm telling you, this 5T Strategy Model, it's the bomb.com. I know that's an old saying, but if you will apply it, it will work for you. So I want to quickly just review here again. What's your position? Where are you? And these are questions you should be asking asking yourself, those around you, evaluating, determining where you are, assessing things, even when it comes to, staff, team, whatever. If you're planning to scale, what does that look like? How are you preparing for it? All of the things, document it, write it down. It's so, so, so very important. If you have not gotten my book, Vision Management, you want to grab that while you're at the website, because that is going to help you to really align yourself as you are either overhauling, reassessing where you are, or you are starting out. Managing your vision is going to be super, super important. Getting the manifestation is one thing, but you got to manage it once you get there. And so it's important that you do that. And you want to do that sooner than later. So for those of you like myself that kind of chill during the holiday time, this is a good time to get a cup of cocoa, a cup of coffee, cup of tea, whatever your favorite drink is, cider, apple cider, whatever it is. Get by the fireplace or get by the window in the morning or the evening as the sun is rising or setting, and take some time and just sit and journal and write the things that you're desiring to do, the things that are from your heart and, from your head and from your heart. And as you do that, things will also be birthed from your spirit, and you will find yourself walking into these things. You'll find yourself connecting with these things because once you begin to journal, it helps you to have an emotional connection. It also helps you to have clarity, right? And it's a connection like you never, and it also enhances your memory because even as you are having conversations, as you are moving about during the holiday season, you're going to parties and mixers and things of that nature, your vision is always at the tip of your mind, and it's on your ears and it's on your eyes because at the end of the day you have taken the time to connect with your inner vision. And so it's so very important that you do that. And so here's the thing I want to encourage you to do, and that is answer these questions for yourself. Where am I right now? Based on where I am, how well have things gone for 2023? What would I improve? Right? Then what is my aspirations? What is it that I want to do for 2024? And I mean that it has no limits, it has no parameters. Whatever that is that you desire to do, write it down. Monetary uh goals, entrepreneur goals, business goals, all of it, write it down. Then you want to also, that's number two. Number three, how am I going to do it? And that may not be a clear cut A to Z kind of plan, but at the end of the day, how do you think you're going to do it? Because once you begin to really write that out, then you're going to really analyze it. That's going to help you to really establish the strategy. Because once you start to look at what you want to do, then you got to figure out how you're going to do it. That is where your strategies come into place, and then you start to strategize to move forward. So you structure it with by asking yourself these three questions. Then you're going to establish strategies from that, and then once your strategies are established, you're going to say, listen, this is the system I'm going to put in place to help myself get to this end result. All right, so here again, my question is, what's your position as you prepare to go into 2024? Now, next week I will be back. I'll be talking about some more specific things about 2024 when I come back next week. I got a couple of minutes here and I'm going to wrap up. And for tonight, as normal, I normally don't go more than 20 to 30 minutes for Tuesday Motivation and Conversation. Now, I am going to be in a series, and that marketing will start coming out probably just before Christmas or right around the Christmas holidays. It'll be a couple of weeks prior to that. But I am going to, this is a topic that I don't really talk about much, but I'm going to deviate from my topical kind of presentations that I normally do, that has to do, and we'll talk about some vision and other stuff and some business, but it is going to be a relationship series. And so I'm gonna give you what the series is gonna be, and of course you'll begin to see those that marketing coming out. So I'm gonna ask you now, when you see it, share it. If you're not a subscriber, make sure you subscribe and listen, join us. We want you to join us, engage. We want you to ask questions in the chat. And so this is a client of mine, and we this kind of came about as a result of the project that we're currently working on for him. And so it is going to be an amazing conversation. It's going to be at least a 4-part series. So we will have 4 consecutive weeks that we will come on together for what is going to be called Relationship Frustrations. That's the name of the series, Relationship Frustrations. And so, yeah, we ain't gonna tell you what all it's gonna encompass, but each week we're gonna be talking about something different, or it may flow over into some other things. But I'm excited about it. This is a different kind of conversation for me, but I'm excited about it. And so we're gonna be talking about everything. when it comes to relationships. And so you definitely want to make sure that you tune in for that series. It will start January 2024, but we'll start marketing here in the next week or so. So I am excited about it. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. And I think we're going to be able to be a blessing to many of you, and you will likely be a blessing to us by the questions and the engagement that you have. So I'm telling you, if you cannot join us live, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on Tuesday, starting in January. I believe the first one's going to be January 9th. So that first week, that holiday week, we will not come on. But the very next Tuesday, and I believe it's January 9th, if I'm not mistaken, we will start the Relationship Frustrations series. It's going to be awesome. You don't want to miss it. I'm telling you, when I tell you don't want to miss this, OMG, you don't want to miss this. So mark your calendars, Tuesday Motivation and Conversation. If you've been coming by, and I'm going to borrow this from the Dear Future Wifey podcast, Latarius Whitfield, he says, you've been shacking up, then come on now. And you just been kind of running by here. Go on and subscribe. Help me out. Will you? Go on and subscribe. And then if any of these informational forms have been helping you from a business perspective, a practical perspective, or it just, gets your juices flowing, will you share it with somebody? Share it with somebody and offer them the opportunity to partake of what it is that I feel like God gives me to share. And I don't ever know sometimes what I'm going to talk about, like tonight. So anyway, I hope it was beneficial to you. I hope it helped you to really kind of think about where you are, what you have going on, but you definitely want to make sure that you tune in for Relationship Frustrations. I got a couple of more things and then I'm out of here. The Pen to Paper Tour 2024 is being scheduled as we speak. We'll definitely be in Las Vegas in June 2024, June 29th and 30th. So these things will start popping up on the website and marketing. You'll start to see these things floating around. Either myself or my team will be pushing things out. Uh, we'll be in April. We will be in Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia for Pen to Paper. It's a tour. So these are workshops. Every workshop will be held on a Saturday. The time frame is 10 to 2. And so we are looking forward to being in a city near you. So there's some East Coast cities. So if you are in Charlotte, North Carolina, or you're in South Carolina, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, New York, any of those, Northeast, anywhere on the East Coast, definitely reach out to us. We'd love to come and share Pen to Paper. I have a phenomenal team. I mean, they are gifted in their areas and they love to pour out and to share. And so we're looking forward to coming to a city near you. If you would like to be a host for Pen to Paper, I did this tour some years back, like 2017 or so, and it was an absolute blessing. And we went into some cities that I'd never been in, but I met some amazing people, and there have been some amazing projects and gifts that have come out of that work and that labor. So I'm looking forward to this season of touring Pen to Paper and workshops. And so if you are someone who would like to help people in your circle or people that you know get structure, establish strategies, and establish systems for their business, and understanding what that is. So many of us are transitioning out of corporate and doing our own thing. You want to have it right. You want to set it up right. You want to structure it right. You want to have the right strategy so you can have the right system so that you can sustain what it is that you're doing. You want a Pen to Paper workshop in your city. So reach out to us. You can go to the website, bridgetmoody.com/tour, and you can get all the information and reach out to us, and we'll send you a hostess packet and we will have the conversation and we'll get you going. So definitely reach out to that if you're interested. And if you want to be a co-host and you're in the Atlanta area, definitely reach out to us via the website and let us know. We'd love to talk to you. Okay. Then we have the conference that's going to happen November 1st and 2nd. You want to put it on your calendar, and early bird registration is now available. So you can go and get registered for Pen to Paper 2024 right now. It's going to be the 1st and the 2nd in Dallas, Texas. That's what you don't want to miss. It's going to be phenomenal. So listen, it's one of those things where, listen, you got to keep going. It's the end of the year, but it's also the beginning of the year. And so there's a lot happening. So definitely reach out. The last thing I'm going to share, and then I'm out of here for tonight, and that is my coaching and mentoring group, the Vision Room, is open until the 20th of December, the 20th of December. If you're a person who is trying to gather clarity, get clarity for vision, and really get a handle on where you are, what you need to do, the Vision Room is the place for you. It's a monthly subscription. We have 2 amazing sessions, live sessions every month, and then there are training videos that you get in between, as well as you have the opportunity to have one-on-ones as they are available with myself to help you move through the process. It's only $49 a month. Now, I'm not going to tell you what it's going to be in 2024 when it opens back up, but it will close after the 20th of December, and it will not open until 2024. And I don't know at what point it will open, because at that point, I want to be able to pour in to those visionaries that are in the room, give them some additional tools. And so many of those people are launching businesses and they are hitting it. I'm telling you, they're knocking it out the park. And it is just, I'm telling you, it's absolutely phenomenal to see these people go from revelation to manifestation. So if that's you and you want to be a part of the Vision Room, it's only $49. And I can't tell you it's going to be $49 forever. So, but it's currently $49. You can go to the website, go to bridgetmoody.com/mentoring and learn all about the Vision Room, and you can get registered and we'll get you all set up and get you caught up and get you in the room. We meet on Monday evenings at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, the second and the fourth Mondays every month. And we are 6 months in. And so a little over 6 months in. And so it has been a phenomenal, phenomenal group. You'll love the Vision Room. And listen, this is not just for women, this is for men and women. I'm telling you, when you learn how to get that vision on paper, some things will change for you. All right. But listen, thank you. Share this with somebody. Will you share it? Will you do that for me? Just share it. Just share it with somebody, drop the link and share it on your pages or whatever the case may be, or send it via text. Ask somebody to just check it out and watch it. I'll see you next week right here, same time, same place for Tuesday, Motivation and Conversation. It's